Don't forget to. So right now, only co-hosts can unmute themselves. Okay. All these people. Don't forget to. So right now, only co-hosts can unmute. Ready for 1 minute. For us to have a very good session, we advise that everyone, please kindly mute yourself. Thank you. Oh my God. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you for joining our session today, iScholar Initiative Scholarship Information Session. So my name is Faidat Badamosi. I'll be the moderator for this session. So I'm a 2019 iScholar and I graduated from the Premier University of Ibadan, where I studied industrial chemistry. And right now I'm a grad student at the University of South Carolina, pursuing a PhD in chemistry. So one interesting fact about me and about so many other iScholars is we're not just scholars, we try to do more than that. So right now I volunteer as the operations manager of iScholar Initiative. So today we are going to be taking you through our 2023 scholarship. And because a lot of you are interested in winning the iScholar Initiative Scholarship, you're interested in grad school. And that's why I believe that's why you're here. So I would advise that if you don't have your pen and paper, you should grab one right away because you'll be getting a lot of information from here. And you want to go back to them as you submit your iSI scholarship application. So first, we'll go over iScholar Initiative, and we also want to let you know how we've evolved over the years. I mean, what has been changing, how have we improved, what's the value of award, and all of that. So that will be taken by our Vice President Operations, Mrs. Anatu Kadir Banjoko. And then we'll take you through the application workflow. So what is it like applying for the iSI scholarship? I mean, going to the portal to create your account, to complete the forms, to send your reference request and all of that. And at the end of that, we'll have a short question and answer session. And right after that, because we know that it is very important to learn from experience. So we have a lot of our iScholars on the call today. They will be available to answer any question that you have based on their experiences applying for the iSI scholarship. And right after that, we just take the closing remark. So again, if you do not have your pen and your paper or your journal or, all of that, your notepad, please grab one right now. And I should also mention that you should share the Zoom link with your friends. And this is currently live on YouTube. If they are unable to join on Zoom, they can connect on YouTube and watch the session live on YouTube. I know and I believe a lot of people here are following us on LinkedIn. You've been seeing the valuable information that we're always sharing. So if you're not following us, you should do that right now. I also want to tell you that our YouTube channel has so much information, not just for our own iScholars. We try to help everyone as much as we can. So if you're interested in grad school especially, you should subscribe to our YouTube channel. So maybe before we proceed, we could just take 30 seconds and have everyone subscribe to the iSI YouTube channel. So I want you to, because this should be interactive. So if you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, could you say yes in the chat box in 30 seconds? I love this. Yes, yes, yes. Let's keep it coming. So tell all your, oh, no. Oh, no. You need to go subscribe. Okay, yes, perfect. Right, so let's just go right into it. So right now, I'll invite our Vice President Operations, Mrs. Anna Tukadir Banjoko, to tell us more about iSI and the evolution of iSI Award.
Hello. Thank you, everybody. I think we currently have 165 people live, and it's increasing. And I'm hoping that we also have people on YouTube that are listening in. I hope that this is going to be empowering for you, and I hope that you all will take the opportunity. Anyways, before I get started, my name is Hannatu Kadir Banjoko. I am a partner at iSI, and I am also a volunteer. And as Fahid said, currently I am serving as the VP Operations, and my department is responsible for the application and selection process. So you'll be hearing a lot from myself and Fahida throughout this process, and other individuals who are also volunteering as well. By background, I am a petroleum engineer. I have a bachelor's degree from Nigeria, as most of you, in petroleum engineering, and I have a master's degree from the University of Houston in geoscience. I have worked in oil and gas for the last 15 years, and all of that internationally. And I've worked in both engineering and geoscience capacities. Currently, I work at ExxonMobil as a global industry advisor. And I'm very happy to be leading this in this process, and to be speaking to you about it. So before we get into what the application process and the application portal, let me tell you a little bit about iSI, who we are at iSI. So iSI is a non-governmental organization. It is an organization that is registered in the United States. It is completely funded by partners, and it is completely run by volunteers. What does that mean? It means that everyone who talks to you today, everyone who you see on our website, either partners, volunteers, or partners and volunteers, there are people who donate their money, and there are people who donate their time to be that bridge for young Nigerian and African students. And what is our vision at iSI? At iSI, a collection of like-minded individuals, we understand that we have a younger generation in Nigeria and Africa at large, who are self-driven, who are brilliant, who are hardworking, who have the drive and the dream to innovate and to lead development in Africa. And the only thing that is missing is, probably funds, probably information and guidance. We also know, because of our partners and our network, that there are world-class institutions outside the shores of Nigeria who have fully funded master's and PhD postgraduate programs who are looking for this, driven, brilliant individuals. And our mission at iSI is to really be that bridge between the people who are deserving, who have the mettle, the grit to undergo a rigorous world-class program, and the universities who have the funding and who have the space for these individuals. And so how do we do this? We do this by sponsoring your standardized tests. We do this by mentoring and empowering these deserving students who have gone through our process and who have won our awards. And then we leverage the network of our partners to know where these opportunities are and to link you and to guide you through that process. So that's who we are at iSI. Next slide, please. So our scholars and a lot of our partners at iSI have worked very tirelessly to put this iScholar guide together. And in this guide, you will be able to see, what exactly we do. You have, best practices and advice on how to go through this process and actually how to work towards getting these opportunities at the different institutions. And you can also reach out to a lot of us, on our website and on LinkedIn, and, the information that we share with you to also help you through the process. So I advise everyone, as soon as the application goes live, we will make this guide available, read it, and it will help. No, we cannot paste the link right now, but it will be made available to you once the application goes live on Monday. And then you can read through it and follow the guides, reach out and ask questions, and we're here to help you through the process. Next slide. Okay, so what does the scholarship entail, and how have we evolved over time? So iScholar is, I like to say, it's a brainchild of one great individual, and it has evolved from being the brainchild of one person to the brainchild of many. And you can kind of see that through our evolution. Like in 2019, we were able to sponsor 20 candidates for GRE in mentorship, because we are always seeking to be better. We're always seeking to understand, what is the gap? How can we help people actually overcome the difficulties and challenges? You would see that in the evolution that we've, gone from just sponsoring GRE to sponsoring GRE and GMAT, which means that we've just expanded our aperture on, the kind of, programs that we allow into the scholarship process, and also, added on TOEFL, because of course, if you're going to schools that are outside of the UK, potentially, a test of English as a foreign language is required. And for me, I always say that the biggest thing that we do, which you cannot, quantify, is the mentorship, right? Because sometimes what people are lacking is information, right, and guidance. And so mentorship is something that is very, very important to us. And in 2021, we went from not just GRE, GMAT, and the standardized tests and mentorship. We also tag on application fee, because we know that there are people who genuinely deserve this scholarship who also are unable to pay the application fee. And we've put an asterisk there because the application fee is not an a la carte process with the rest of the scholarship. It's something that you have to qualify for based on on different criteria, and it's a predetermined number of people. And so in 2022, we went from 50 to 65. And then you can see how through time we're evolving, we're adding more to serve better. We want to serve as many people as we can. We're leveraging the contribution and the donation of a lot of the partners. But you can tell that we kind of the difficult economic situations around the world, that we have to do better with sourcing that fund so that we can serve many more people who qualify for this process. And that is where innovation comes in. And so we're not just leveraging the partners' contribution and donation, we're also leveraging the innovation of a lot of our management committee, our board of trustees, to go out there and figure out how we can better tap into resources that you might not have access to and provide that to you. And I think that's kind of the story from 2019 to 2023 as we've gotten bigger and better. And our dream is to continue to get bigger and better, so that no student, no deserving student is left untouched. And I hope that with that, you kind of have kind of a summary of who we are and what we're seeking to do. As of this year, like I said, we're hoping to be able to sponsor 70 candidates through the GR, GMAT, and TOEFL process. The application fees, as would be communicated, and of course, mentorship and guidance that are provided by a lot of our scholars who are also doubling as volunteers. So with that, I will hand it over to Fahida to go through the application process and the portal.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Bandrico. So, like you mentioned, 70 candidates. Do you want to be one of the 70 candidates to win the iSI scholarship this year? Let me see your responses in the chat. I want to see if you're really motivated and ready for this. Okay. Just yes? Okay. Right. So a lot of us want to win the iSI scholarship. So the very first thing to put yourself in a position where you'll be able to win the scholarship is actually to follow the application requirements and application process as you should, right? So in the last few weeks, we've been sharing the application requirements. So if I were like a prospective applicant right now, most likely, okay. If I were a prospective applicant right now, so most likely I would have gathered all the necessary materials and I'm just waiting for the application to open up next week. And I'm just going to put in everything and send my application, right? Okay. And that's what I'm expecting that you all would have done already. But in case you've not done it, I'll walk you through the application requirements and the portal workflow. So what are the application requirements? So first, the 500 words personal statement. So your personal statement is very important. Why do you want the scholarship? What is the motivation? What is the need? What, all these type of things. These are the things that should be in your essay. Now, I know that we all have very beautiful stories and all that. 500 words cannot be enough to say everything. But trust me, you don't want to go beyond the 500 word limit, okay? Winning scholarships, being a good candidate, following instruction is a very, very, very important characteristic, okay? And then your examination study plan, that's another requirement, right? So you're winning the iSI scholarship. iSI would fund your GRE and your TOEFL. It means that you've been preparing for this GRE. The only thing stopping you from taking the GRE or the TOEFL is what? Funds, right? So you should already you've started preparing. It means you already have a study plan. You're not just waking up in the morning and you're like, oh, let me just read the GRE because it says it's the way to Jackpot, or let me prepare for TOEFL today because I have time. You're not doing that. You're being intentional, okay? So we want to see that in your study plan, your examination study plan. So for the examination study plan, at least you should put in that of your GRE or your GRE and TOEFL, or if it's GMAT you're interested in, and then CV, resume, right? So this is more of like an academic opportunity, not exactly like a work or job opportunity. So typically the reviewers would not expect to see something that is like a work CV or a work resume. I don't know if you've heard of anything like an academic CV or academic resume. If your CV is not so academic, you need to make it academic because this is an academic opportunity. So you want to put your CV out there. You want to show that you have what it takes. You know, it's like a typical resume that you would submit to grad school, right? And then your reference. So reference, we require two references, the academic and the professional. So your academic reference can come from like your undergrad thesis supervisor, your lecturer, you know, all those people, right, that have taught you, that know you, and they know your academic abilities and can speak to it. And then the second one is your professional reference, right? So professional reference, it can also come from someone who has taught you, like your lecturer, right? And it can come from someone you've worked with. Is it maybe where you did your IT or where you served for your NYSC, your boss at work, and those people, right? And the good thing here is, I know it's not easy to get reference letters, right? And it's always a pain, especially when they have to like put it on a letterhead, type it, upload, and all that. So we've simplified that for you. They don't have to use a letterhead. It doesn't have to like be printed out and uploaded. They just need to type in what they would typically put in that letterhead in the portal through the link that will be sent to them, okay? And then we also require your first degree transcript. Keyword, first degree. So even if you have a master's, what we want is your first degree transcript. Again, keyword, first degree. And lastly, we require your first degree certificate or statement of results. We know some people have not received their certificate yet, but most of us, we are able to get the statement of results. So that can work. Again, the keyword here is first degree. Like I mentioned before, following instructions is part of positioning yourself to win an opportunity, right? So these are the application requirements. I'm sure some of you have questions already, so we'll take it during the question and answer part of this session. Now, I'll proceed to walk you through the application timeline. So for the iSI scholarship, the application will open on Monday, that's January 9 at 12 a.m. It doesn't mean that you should submit your application at 12:01, right? Take your time, okay? It's open till February 10. Again, it doesn't mean you should wait till February 10, 11:50 p.m. to submit your application. Now, you can see that this is February 10 is the application and reference deadline, okay? So the application reference deadline, that means that your referees should have submitted the reference forms by February 10. So I would not be a candidate that would apply on February 10 and expect that my referee would submit it right away. But well, some people might be lucky, okay? So it's better you start working on your application now so that you can give your referees enough time to be able to submit the reference form for you, right? So the application reference deadline, February 10, then the application review would be from February through April 2023. And after this, there is a phase where we have like the initial selection. So we would reach out to the candidates that have qualified for the next stage, which is the interview. So there is an interview in this whole process, but just letting you know that right now. So the interview will come up in April 2023. And then we would notify the winners and the public of we'll notify everyone of the winners of the 2023 ISI scholarship by May 2023. Okay, I hope that I have been as clear as possible, but if you have questions, just you can either put them in the chat or you can wait till the question and answers part of this session so that we can take your questions. So now I would go through the application portal. Before I continue, I'm sure some of us, the first page of our notepad is already very full, right? If it's full, can you tell me in the chat? I want to know if you've been following and you're taking the right notes. Oh, it is? Oh, nice. Okay. So now the application portal, right? So we've made this application a seamless one for you. You know, in iSi, we need to give you a feeling of what it is like when you finally apply to grad school. Okay, so to apply for the iSi scholarship, you just need to visit the website ischolarinitiative.org. So once you visit the iSi website, you would have on the home page, right at the top. I'm sure you all can see my pointer. At the top, you can see home, about us, volunteer resources, apply, contact us. You just have to click apply and it will take you to the page where you where you can apply for the scholarship. Or right on this home page, you just scroll down a bit and you come across this gentleman looking at you, telling you that you're the next iScholar, right? Is that not what his face is telling you? And right next to it, you would see apply for scholarship. Okay. So once you click apply for scholarship, the next page would be this. You see a young lady, another iScholar, smiling, telling you, come and join the family. So on this page, it says log in to continue, but you're a new applicant. You cannot just log in to continue. So the first thing you need to do is to create your iScholar account. Okay, so once you click this, it takes you to this page where you have, oh, could you please try not to make marks on the screen? Please stop annotating. You see this group of scholars telling you that this family needs you, this family wants you, okay? And then you can go ahead to put your full name, your email address, and your password, and you just click create account. So once you click this, you'd receive an email asking you to verify your address, okay? So the verification link that is sent to the email address, which you put in here, once you click that, it will redirect you here. So now you can log in to continue. Okay, so let's say I've created my account. Now I've typed in my email address, my password. Now I can click login and the journey begins. So once I click login, this is the next page that I will see, my dashboard for the scholarship 2023. So on this page, you would see it says, welcome, Faidat Badamosi. So let's say I'm applying for the 2023 iSi scholarship. And now I can see my progress status. It says 0/4. So it means that we have 4 parts to this application form. And the goal is to have 4/4, right? Then you can see the academic reference status. It says pending. So it just means whenever your referee completes the reference form, this should change to completed. And this will have a check mark. And the professional reference, you'd see it's also saying pending. Okay. So once I log in and I'm seeing this page, the next thing to do is just to click start application, right? So start application, once you click that, it takes you to the first page. So you saw 0/4 in the previous page. That's because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts to complete. So the first part is your personal data, right? So on this page, it says all asterisk fields must be completed to proceed. So all these fields with this, you need to fill them to be able to proceed to the next page, okay? So, and another thing is you should not forget to upload your passport. If you do not upload your passport, you're not going to be able to proceed to the next page. And so the international passport number is optional. Okay, so you don't have to be too worried about that. And then, so we can assume that I have typed in my details and I've completed everything. So now I can proceed and click next. So the color of this next button would actually change if you can actually proceed. So now to page 2, education, right? So, so here you have to fill in your, again, the keyword here is first degree. So if you have a master's or you even have a PhD, it's your first degree, right? So first degree, you have to fill in all the required fields. And you would see on this page that we have some, it says you should upload some documents. So you need to upload your first degree transcript in PDF format. It's not going to take any other format. And then you need to upload your first degree certificate or statement of result. And then this NYSC certificate, you can see that it's not required. So it's okay if you've not started NYSC, or if you've not completed NYSC rather. But if you have your NYSC call-up letter, you could also put it here. Or let's say you are yet to begin, and let's say you're supposed to begin in April, right? So that means in April, you're going to have your call-up letter or something. You don't want to miss out on this because, you know, the deadline is February. The main thing is just if you get to the next stage and you get to the final stage and all that, and you realize you actually didn't upload anything here, we're just going to request that you provide your call-up letter or your certificate. So you're fine if you do not have the NYSC certificate right now, okay? So once you complete all of this, right? Let's say you're wondering if on the previous page, the personal data page, if you filled in the correct details or something and you want to go back to check, yes, you can do that. You just need to click previous. So you can go back and forth and see what your entries are like and all that, okay? So after this, so let's say while filling this application form, maybe the network, something just happened, the network, or maybe you just had to go somewhere quickly and you don't want to rush and all that. So you can just click this save entries. So it's going to save your entries and then you can log out, okay? So that's why you have your login details. So whenever you go back to the portal, you just, it says login to continue. So you just type in your details and your dashboard would look like this. So you see that we've completed 2 parts of the application. So that's why this is now 2/4. So once you get to, once you have something like this, all you need to do is just to click continue application. So you just click continue application and you continue from where you stop. So we stopped at part 2. So that's why we're on this page. Okay, so now I can click next and go to part 3. So part 3 is where it's called profile. So this page tells us about you. Okay, so here you need to put in your CV or resume. So you don't need to upload anything. You can just type in or you copy and paste, right? So you would see at the top right corner of each text box or text field, you'd see words. So you're able to see the number of words so that you don't go above the word limit. Anyways, you actually cannot go above the word limits, because on this page, you would see that all the words, the number of words are within the word limit. So that's why I can click the next button. But if I go above the word limit, like this is beyond 500, this is 573, you see that I cannot proceed here. So you need to stay within the word limits. So once you put in all your CV, your examination study plan, your personal statement, so you see this field called other skills and experience, you will see that it's not asterisk. And that's because it's just for maybe your personal statement, you feel like 500 words is not enough to, tell us about you. You could use this field to add other things, your experiences, your career goals, and all that, okay? So you want to stay within the word limit. So you click next, and now you're on the last page, which is reference. So here you have academic reference and professional reference, okay? So you type in the full name of your referee, their email address, the phone number, university, school name, department, and your relationship, maybe your lecturer or your advisor or something. And the same thing for your professional reference, the full name, the email, phone number, organization name, and relationship. So let's say you were using two of your lecturers, this would just be maybe University of Ibadan or something. So now you can click submit application. Now you see this very important message here that says, it is the applicant's responsibility to follow up and ensure reference forms are completed. It is your responsibility to follow up with your referees to ensure that they complete this form before the deadline or by the deadline, okay? So now you can proceed and submit your application, but if you want to go over your entries again and again, you can always use this previous button to go back and review what you've typed in. Check your email, check the email addresses, check the documents you've uploaded, check, all this vital information. You don't want to make any mistake, okay? So now, let's say I'm satisfied. So I'm just going to click submit application, okay? So now, once I click submit application, I have this page that pops up and says that I'm certifying that all the information in this application are correct and accurate to the best of my knowledge. You don't want to falsify anything just so you look like the best candidate or something. You need to stay true. And if you feel like you want to review your entries, you can always go back, just click no, review entries, and go through all the parts again. But if you're satisfied and you're double sure and all that, you can click submit. It is only when you submit your application that your referees would receive the reference form link. If you don't submit your application, your referee would not receive the reference form link. So you should not think that because you've typed the email address here, they'll automatically get the reference form link. You need to submit the application. So once you submit the application, you will then have 4/4. This is where you want to be, right? So now the application is not complete. You've only made this part green. The goal is to make all this green and, so that your application would be reviewed and considered. If you stop here and this doesn't become completed, you cannot be considered. So it is your responsibility to follow up and ensure that your reference forms are submitted. But let's say that, let's just assume the referee details that you've put in, maybe you made an error in the email address and you didn't know that. You can always update reference. or let's say the person is not available to complete the reference form and you want to change it to another person, you can always update reference. So you just click update reference. As long as this doesn't show completed or this doesn't show completed, then you can change it. Okay. So you click update reference and put in the new details and then save, and it's sent to the new email address. Okay. So let's if we can assume like maybe my professional referee has completed the form. So this is what the page will look like. So you see now I have a check mark here. I have 4/4. The goal is to also have a check mark here, right? So if you maybe at this point, right, you want to update reference, this is the only one you would be able to update because it hasn't been completed yet. You cannot change this one. Okay. So again, you see, we have this on almost all the slides, just to let you know that it is your responsibility to follow up with your referees and ensure that they complete this reference form before the deadline. So this is what the application portal would look like for you on Monday. So when you create your account and log in, everything I've shown you is what you would see and what you would most likely have to do also. So right now, I'm sure you all have questions, and also we're moving on to the question and answer section. So you can just type your question in the chat. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me? I have documented some of the questions from the chat, so I will share the screen.
Okay, you're going to share your screen, yeah?
I'll share my screen with those questions, and people start tending to those questions.
And take them quickly. Okay, that's perfect. I'll stop sharing now. You should be able to share your screen.
Okay.
I see lots of hands up. You guys, don't worry.
Do you see my screen?
Oh, yeah. This is perfect. So I can see your screen, and we'll take some of the questions now. Mrs. Banjoko and hi. So can I use, before I go into those questions, on the iSI portal, on the iSI website, before you click apply for scholarship, just right at the bottom, you would already see some FAQs that can also help you. So the first question, can I use student copy for transcripts? Yes, so if what you mean by student copy is what you get when you like log into your school portal and you can print out the transcript, yes, you can use that as long as there is like a signature or it is signed. Okay, you can use your student copy transcript. How many references in total? So you need just 2 references, academic and professional. Can OND graduates apply? So for iSI scholarship, we allow HND graduates with distinction to apply. We even have a current iScholar who has an HND. So HND graduates can apply. HND graduates with distinction. OND graduates, no, OND graduates cannot apply right now.
Can I jump in? I think
yes.
The premise is we want people who are who can currently go into a master's program, right? And at the very moment. And we think that in an OND certificate, you might be needing a lot of prerequisites or a lot of additional courses to be able to qualify to get into a master's program. So because of that, no, you cannot currently apply as an OND, but we're happy to have you on to go through the other change.
Thank you. And then I don't understand the study plan aspect of the requirements. Okay, so let me just give you an example. So you guys that are on this call, you're lucky. So a study plan, let's say I want to write the GRE, right? And then I know that I need at least 3 months to prepare for the GRE, right? So I cannot just say, I will prepare for the GRE in 3 months. Now I'm going to break it down and say, okay, 3 months is 12 weeks. What am I going to be doing every week? Am I going to go through quant in week 1? If I'm going through quant, what quant text am I using? Is it the 5 pound or is it Magoosh? Okay, if it's weekly, how many can I even break it down and make it like, do I want to go through it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or just twice a week? Is it just 4 hours or 6 hours per day? That kind of plan, it's very practical. It shows how ready you are to go through this process. I hope that answers your question.
And let me add some color to that. So to kind of summarize what Farida has said, and just to put it to you in plain language, the study plan is your commitment. We want to see your commitment to the process, right? As you can see, we have over 200 people on this call. We have, probably close to 100 people on YouTube. And as you spread the word and as people start to see that the application is open, there are going to be a whole bunch of people who are trying to apply for this process, for the scholarship as well. And you saw earlier that, it is limited, right? Because of the resources. We have 70. And so we want to make sure that whoever is, whoever we're going to be betting on in this process is someone who is ready and someone who has a plan. And so this plan is a way of asking you to demonstrate to us that you know that this requires work, and that you're thinking about the work and you're putting together a framework for how you intend to get it done.
Right. And so since the results come in May, should my study plan be up till May or start from May? Okay, so if you've seen the flyer where we've been telling you to apply for iSI scholarship, there is a part that says applicants should be ready to take the GRE latest August 2023, 2024, right? So it means that, so typically for you to ace the GRE, you should practice for at least 3 months. That is what I think. So for you to ace, so now if you get notified that you're winning the iSI scholarship by May, you still have so your study plan doesn't have to end in May, but by August you should be ready. So you could make a 6 month, it might be a 6 month plan that you have. This is January. August is 8 months away or 7 months away or something. So it might be a 6 month plan, maybe based on your schedule or something, just your own plan, not anybody's plan, not something on the internet. What is going to work for you? That's the main thing. And keep in mind, you should be ready to write the GRE by August. And then, are you sharing your full screen? We're seeing you now. So, okay, yeah, that's gone. Can final year students apply? So final year students, if you have, so final year students would be possibly, maybe they're rounding up right now and they already have their full transcript and maybe they just don't have the NYSC call-up letter or something and they might get called up before May when we announce the result, then yes, you can apply. What if your statement of results is not ready just yet? So the thing is, yeah.
So your statement of results, at the very least, have to be ready by the application. So it is your responsibility to make sure that you are able to get that statement of results, because I think it's one of the red asterisk things which you do not upload, you do not receive. Right, and we do understand that there are challenges in getting some of these things, but we also know that with your mettle and grit that you are able to pursue fervently what we need to pursue to be able to go through this That's it.
Mhm. So,
Aida, I think hardly a minute or two more for
just
questions.
to take, okay, so we can go to, yeah. So, study plan, is it must to be for GRE and TOEFL or just the GRE? At the very least, you want to put your GRE study plan. You know, I know the word limit and all, you know, your plan might be 1,000 words or something just for GRE, but at the very least, just put your GRE. If you can put your GRE and TOEFL, great. But at the very least, please put your GRE study plan. How can I sort out transcript? I've applied and I'll get it by March or April. Can I still apply? Well, the transcript is a very, very important requirement. So if you can get the transcript on your school portal or something like is signed and stamped or something like that, then that can work for the application. And what if you're
I would also say, and you know, we're all, I'm assuming that we're all Nigerians here, and we know the challenges, right, with getting some of these things from the school. But you know, the kind of people that we're looking for, we expect that you have the necessary reputation and connections, even though the official transcript may not have come out of your non-academic staff office or wherever it comes out of, that you can impress it on the people in your department to give you something that tells us, you know, how you have performed over the last years that you've been there, right? So I would say as a workaround, you know, based on the application deadline, that you can provide a feeler for, an honest feeler for your performance. Does that sound fair, Bahida?
yeah. So please, what if you're still serving? Can you still apply? Oh my God. I mean, you should apply. You have everything. You can use your call-up letter if you're worried about the NYSC part. Okay. So can your priest or pastor be used for the professional or character referee? So you can think about it this way. You know, we're trying to give you a feel of applying to grad school, right? In your grad school application, right? Apart from using your lecturers, think about it. Who else can you use? Would you use your priest or your pastor or your imam as your referee? If you can answer that question, then I think I've answered this question. So I think we would, if you have more questions, again, the FAQ.
Let me soften that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Did you work for your pastor, right? Because we do understand that some of you are, you know, just getting out of school. Maybe you haven't. I mean, I'm not expecting that you haven't gotten any work experience, but a lot of us do ITs and stuff, and you can leverage that. But we have people who have done great work at their churches, at their mosques, right? People who have helped innovate, people who have helped solve problems, people who have helped lead departments. And if that is your best option, what you have to consider is, what story are you trying to tell about yourself, and how can that person help you further that story, right? So if it's to the extent that, you know, this person is someone who comes and prays 5 times a day, or this is a very devout Christian, then, you know, think about that very carefully, right? But if it's to the extent that this person is the leader of our you know, musical department, who has done this, and you know, has helped innovate this, and speaks to your character and speaks to your volunteerism, you know, etc., to the point where it furthers your application, then why not? Right? But just know that it is your choice and it is your story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that we can close the.
Yeah, just to close this, how I saw a question that popped up, which is, can you apply for TOEFL alone? Yes, you can apply for TOEFL alone. Right, so we'll move to the next part of this session, and that is the breakout session. I'm sure you'll want to learn from experiences of previous I scholars and all that. So you're in luck if you're in this session. So I'll share my screen again. Okay, what can we see on my screen? the moderators, right? Okay, so our moderators, so we have 5 breakout rooms, and we have 5 moderators and 2, we have 1 moderator in each breakout room and 2 panelists in each breakout room. So our moderators are, just introducing them very quickly: Ibrahim, Oshud, Jumoke, Jinadu, Goshen, Mercy, and Gifts. And our panelists today are a couple of our 2022 iScholars. Apart from them, we have other 2022 iScholars on the call. So if you happen to be in their breakout room and all, they could, if you type your question in the chat, they could also provide responses and all that. So our breakout rooms have been named. So these are the names of the breakout rooms. So there's a breakout room called Victory. There's a breakout room called Success, Triumph, Flourish, and Prosperity. So you would be able to choose the room you want to go to. Okay, so I'm going to start the breakout session now, and it will be for just 15 minutes. So just give me a few seconds to open the room. Okay. So are we ready to go into the breakout rooms? Okay. So the rooms are open now. You should be able to, you should see it pop up on your screen, and you can join any room you want.
I'm saying that you have it such that everyone does not join the single room.
Not really. They'll have to like pick the rooms they want to go to, but I can see that there's some diversity. So yeah, I think rooms are getting picked. I didn't just want to.
If everybody clicks the first thing that shows up on their screen, they don't end up all in one room.
Sure. So we can up into the rooms, I think so.
Do we really need to, or can we stay here and discuss?
What did you say?
Do we really need to hop into the room, or can we stay here and discuss?
We're live on YouTube.
So that's true.
Yeah. It's stupid. Okay.
I mean, our YouTubers aren't able to.
Yeah, they're not able to. So I'll just go there to see questions that might be there, so that we can take them.
I was also looking at YouTube and trying to focus over some questions. We still have a few questions. I think that we may be able to address this very quickly during the closing remark. But let's start.
Okay, I think most people have joined rooms. Can you see the breakout rooms in your I think we have a good, we have 27 people in Victory, 50 in Success. Success has more fans. What am I just saying? It keeps popping on and off. But I think we have people in most rooms, so people should be fine. You're finding it difficult to join a room. You're unable to join. What is it saying?
Maybe we help them to, for those that have
Okay.
just assign them.
Yeah, just tell me what room you want to go to. I'll push you there.
Just assign people to rooms like that to speed up the process. I think it's fine. Yeah.
We have a good spread actually. So let's go. So we can always up into rooms.
I'm trying to assign people to.
Yeah, I'm also assigning. Yeah. Maybe some people are not with their phones or laptops right now.
Inside me.
Okay. Just 16 people haven't joined, so let's see. 14 left.
It's great.
Mhm.
Right, since we are on YouTube and we can't join the room, maybe you can share some of your experience.
I can do one.
You can share some of your experience and be the pseudo panelist for the people on YouTube.
I didn't hear you.
No, I was just saying that since we are on YouTube and they can't join the room, maybe you can kind of
For
provide
those
them-
on YouTube, right? Oh, okay, sounds good. So 1 second while I think I want to allow participants to unmute themselves just in case they want to unmute. Okay, so for people on YouTube, I'll be your panelist for this one. So Mrs. Banjo, could you want to ask me a question? You just want me to share my experience?
You can share your experience. And I guess I can put this question to you.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
That said, can you apply to the university of your choice while securing fully funded scholarships without necessarily applying for international English test exam? Thank you. That's
Okay, so like, can you apply to grad school without necessarily writing TOEFL and IELTS? Is that the question?
yes, that was a question.
Yes, of course. I mean, there are a couple of people, even that, because, you know, in Nigeria, we grew up speaking English, right? So if you're able to make a case to that grad school, like the official language, the first language in my country, I've been speaking English from the womb, right? So you just need to maybe get from you will have to get a document from your school that just says that the language of instruction while you were in the university is English. So that works. And there are some schools that just automatically waive this English test for Nigerians. So you need to make that research. You need to search for those schools, right? And so that way you're able to apply. Honestly, you can actually apply to grad school without taking the English tests. Oh, okay. I think I made a mistake of allowing people to unmute themselves. So I'll just mute everyone again.
So, Saida, can you kind of provide a flavor for people on kind of like that, your experience with the application?
Fine. Okay, so my experience applying for iSI scholarship. So I applied for the very first edition of iSI scholarship. At this time when I wanted to apply, I wasn't so confident because I even submitted my my application, I think, on the deadline day. That's not something you should do, honestly. So I'm writing my personal statement. I typically, what I wrote was something that I would submit to a grad school. I felt I put it that way so that I could show the reviewers that I am ready to apply to grad school. The only thing that is stopping me is that I'm not able to fund my GRE and TOEFL. So I put that there, and I also put a word to actually show why I cannot afford the GRE and so forth, right? Because you need to show why you need this. So I submitted that, and then I submitted my transcript. At that time, we had to send reference letters. So our referees had to like get a letterhead and put it on, type the letter, sign, and then send it and all that. So I had to do that. I was lucky enough to have people who were just ready to give it to me, even and all that. So I put that, and then so now that's why the person who talked about statement of results, like what if it's not ready? I mean, if you really want this, you will find a way. I remember my friend and I wanted to apply for opportunities. We had just finished from UI in May 2019, and statements of results, they were not ready, like at all. And we wanted to apply for things. So if we cannot get the official university statement of results, we felt, oh, we can get one from the department. I mean, what is on the statement of results says that you finished with the first class. So we went to the HOD and we said, oh, we need to apply for this, and the deadline is so. Please, could you write and state that, oh, we finished with a first class and so CGPA, sign it and stamp it, and we will see if that would work as the statement of results, right? And honestly, for some opportunity, before we finally got the official statement of result, that's what we were using. And yeah, it worked, honestly. So really, these things, when you cannot get some, just go to your department and tell them, like, as long as it is the genuine copy, it is signed and stamped, honestly, I feel it might work. So I think for that, we did that. For transcripts, our transcripts were not going to be ready until convocation, and we were going to do convocation in November 2020. What did we do again? We went to the department. We usually have departmental transcript. If we cannot get the university one, department, please, we're applying for this. Could you please put together our everything, sign and stamp it? And that's what we were using till we got the like official one, because processing these things can take time, honestly. So that's for the and study plan. So for my study plan, because I'd always wanted to apply and go to grad school. I already knew about the GRE and all that. So for me, I like to outline things. So I just wrote my study plan in terms of like weeks, like week 1. And then I stated like how many hours per day I'll be studying and what textbooks I would use. Okay, if I'm using the 5-pound Manhattan, it's in, I think, 8 parts. So, okay, I'm going to finish part 1 by this week and go to part 2. I'm going to take a practice test after 2 weeks. I'm going to take maybe 10 practice tests before my final exam day and all that. So that is so practical, and it shows how ready, like, I was just willing to tell them the only thing stopping me here is the fund, right? It's just the fund. So please give it to me. I hope my experience would help anyone out there, because this is going to remain on YouTube. So yeah, so that's pretty much it, I think. I don't know if anyone watching on YouTube has any question. I'll be happy to answer. The breakout session will end in 3 minutes, so everyone is going to come back here. Okay. So I don't know. Is anyone still with us here, or it's just us? I think it's just us. Just me and you.
I think people are going to start jumping back. I think right now.
It's ending in Oh, someone's here. If you have a question, you could type it. I could be able to answer it. Since you didn't join any breakout room.
I'm the one here. It's Femi, so.
Oh, Mr. Fajr.
So I think that was a question I saw on YouTube asking about the formatting of this resume. Did you see that? Because I didn't hear you address that.
Oh, no, I didn't see that. So formatting of resume. I mean, I've seen these things where it's the simplest thing that actually win you these opportunities. You don't need all those graphics, design, and all those kind of stuff. You just want to communicate. So if you copy and paste from Word and it doesn't have all those graphics and stuff, I think it should be fine. But if you have all of those graphic design things and all this kind of stuff, I'm not sure the formatting would remain when you copy and paste it. So just keep it simple, honestly. Let me just give you something that can help you with the CV resume. In the iScholar guide, we actually have a CV resume template, an academic CV resume template. If you just use that, it's just one page. Typically, your CV should not be more than one page. And just try to keep it within the word limits. And just, if you use that thing, I'm not saying if you use iSI templates, you will win iSI scholarship. It's just a guide. Okay. I hope that answers that person's question. So breakout room, closing out, they're all coming back in 30 seconds.
So we can wrap this up in 5 minutes. We can wrap this up in 5 minutes.
I guess just best practices and then closing remark. Okay, time is up. Do you want to close out breakout rooms? Yeah, rooms will close in 60 seconds. And I'm sure they got notified, so they should be fine. Okay, they're all coming back. Okay, I can see Mercy. Mercy, how's your breakout session before everyone gets back here?
That was great, and a lot of persons with questions. Some were not able to, give them the opportunity to ask their questions. So I don't know what we're gonna do to that.
They can always email us.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can email us, and if you're listening, you can continue to put your questions in the chat. We will collect these questions, and we'll try to provide, some update to frequently asked questions or something in kind of way of sharing.
Yeah. Okay, so welcome everyone. Welcome. Okay, I think we have everyone back in the room. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. Should have been trying to do that before, because I don't know what screen this is. I think it's this one. So you can see panelists on my screen. Am I right? Okay, so welcome back, everyone. I hope the breakout session was helpful. I'm sure they were not able to take all your questions. So if you still have questions, right, you can email us, or you can just post it in the chat. We'll collect all the questions and possibly update it on our FAQs on the website or something. So we're going to wrap up this session in a few minutes. So best practice. First things first, start early. Don't wait till February 10 at 11:30 and be like, oh, I gotta apply and all that. So start early, collect your application materials and everything like that. Inform your referees early. I expect that you've even told them before now that when this thing is going to open in January, and I'll need you to please complete a reference form for me. You don't have to get a letterhead and type anything or upload. You just need to click the link, type in the text box and all that, okay? Then read instructions carefully. Again, read instructions carefully. I can't really say much about that because it's very explanatory. And also you can go through the application FAQs on our website or reach out to us via email for any inquiries. Applications at iScholarInitiative.org, okay? So at this point, we'll be rounding up the session. So now we need to take the closing remark, which I'll invite our president, Mr. Victor Ogumola, to give us a closing remark.
Yeah, thank you so much, Fahidat, our powerful operation manager. And of course, a big kudos to Mrs. Anatu Banjoko, our powerful VP operations. I mean, I've been listening in, when we had to go to the breakout room, I was kind of navigating through each room. I mean, that is an innovation you brought to this again, which really made, small team so that we give more opportunity to more scholars, prospective scholars to ask questions. So I just want to say thank you to the entire operation team. Thank you to our breakout room moderators. I was so wowed. It's like, when you read the Holy Book, it doesn't matter how many times you've read a particular verse or chapter, each time you read it, it becomes new. So that's the kind of things I see here in the last 1 hour or so. So I want to thank you all, our panelists. And some of our managers. I saw Mrs. Baduga, I saw Femi Nelson, our secretary. Mrs. Baduga is our external relation VP. So, and many other, there are so many of our managers here, Messi, Abdul Waris. I'm sorry if I'm skipping names, so I don't have the dashboard here. But more importantly, this is what we live for. From what Mrs. Banjoko said that during her opening speech, all we do for free. The joy for us is seeing all you guys being successful. There are opportunities over here and around the world. And there are people who are so self-driven, so smart, bright-minded folks.
Sorry to interrupt.
So what we do, just to use the word of Mrs. Banjoko, is just to fill the gap.
So,
and that gap to
interrupt you.
Or any of your standardized test fields, and it will also be in form of paying for your application fees, or it could be in form of, give you that mentorship, that guidance, that direction. So I just want to say thank you all, and to all our prospective scholars. We all look forward to working with you in the next couple of years, especially for those of you that will be very successful in this application. And all we are doing here is to do our best to put you in that position that you'll be very competitive, not just for iSI scholarship, but even when you go on to apply to grad school of your choice anywhere in the world, you are globally competitive. Remember, what we are doing is to give you the best shot at the opportunities that are available around the world. That is why I would say, as our BOT like to describe it, our return on investment in terms of the time we spend, in terms of the resources we all donate, is yielding so much result. And we are not surprised because we bring in the very best. So, and what we just did now is to improve the outcome for each and every one of you. iSI is an equal opportunity recruiter. So all you need to bring to the table are your record, yourself, your drive, your passion. That's all you need. You don't need to know anybody. So we are very proud of our integrity. We are very proud of our process. And I will tell you that this is the most important part of what we do, because the quality of the candidate we bring in will actually reflect on us in years to come. So once again, I just want to say thank you. And on behalf of our entire management team, the board of trustees, and of course, the entire partners, thank you all. And we look forward to seeing you and to see more of you. And I want to wish you all the very best. So by Monday, I think 12 midnight Nigerian time, WAT, I believe the application portal will go live as communicated by Faidat earlier. So we can only wish you all the best. You've had so much today. And I believe the most important thing is not just to listen in, but to actually take action. So you want to begin to talk to your referees if you have not done so. You gather every required document, your transcript, everything you need to be very competitive for this. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you, the operation team. And of course, I have to also acknowledge our media team, because I'm not really surprised that we are having this level of traction in terms of response from the public. The media team, for almost 30 days ago now, they've been doing what they call countdown. So they've made a lot of publications to create the awareness for this, because we want to make sure every deserving, every willing, every passionate prospective scholar is able to be aware of this and, of course, take action. So I want to thank Mrs. Badugba, our VP, External Relations. Mercy is on that team. She is the media manager. We have the likes of Toby, Ola. So all of you that are doing all this great job. So thank you so much. Again, I can't but say I will be the happiest person to see many of these faces again. For the next couple of years, because when you come to iSI, you never leave. So people like Faidat, they are our pioneer scholars, and she's still here. So, and she's going to be here for life by the special grace of God. So this is all for you, and you should begin to think about, okay, if you can move from being an applicant today to be the president of iScholar tomorrow. That's the whole idea. So see yourself in that mode and work really hard. There are a lot of things in it for you than just coming to the, just to apply. So take it like a serious business. If it is worth a minute of your time, then please do it well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okumola. And so we've come to the end of this. Just like you mentioned, iSI is family. So we'll be happy to see your faces again. If this session has been so awesome for you, please just say something in the chat. And I want you to know that this session is always going to be on our YouTube channel. And honestly, you should subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you would always be notified whenever we organize very helpful webinars and all. And we have information session that we did last year and in 2021. So if you still want to listen to other people's experience and all, you should watch that of last year and even the previous year. So at this point, I wish you all the best as the iSI application opens up on Monday. I want to say a big thank you to the Vice President Operations, Mrs. Banjoko, to all the 2022 iScholars who volunteered to be panelists, and those who were in the chat responding to questions and everything. And so the scholars and partners who volunteered to moderate the session, the breakout session. And so everyone that, I cannot mention all the names right now, but thank you so much for all you do for iSI. So everyone have a good evening, afternoon.
Thank you.
weekend.
You are a blessing. You are a blessing. Thank you for your help.